So the 2023 Major League Baseball season ended about 17 minutes ago, and ESPN thought it would be a good idea to put out their power rankings before any trades happen and before any free agents sign with new clubs. So let's react to it, because we all know that ESPN loves baseball and they know exactly what they're talking about, right?
Tell the baseball community to shut the hell up.
Now, all jokes aside, I can kind of agree with them ranking the White Sox as the worst projected team going into 2024. In 2023, they were 50 games under 500, and if we take a look at their free agency pool, they're set to lose their best pitcher from a year ago, Mike Clevenger. He was better than Dylan Cease, Michael Kopech, Lucas Giolito, and if we take a look at the top prospects for the White Sox, yes, they stole Edgar Cuero in that Lucas Giolito trade, but Colson Montgomery, he's really the only kind of big name that I can think of. So let me know in the comments, what do you make of the White Sox being the worst team in baseball according to ESPN for the 2024 season? The second worst team, we have the Colorado Rockies, and I don't know if the Rockies are ever going to be good, like especially even on paper. They have some guys like Chris Bryant. I really like Ryan McMahon. I like Brendan Rodgers and Brenton Doyle, and even Chuck Nasty's fun, Charlie Blackmon. But if we take a look at their free agency pool, they've already given Charlie Blackmon an extension. Brent Sutter, I don't know if he's going to be leaving or not, but they don't have a lot of dudes on the roster aside from the guys I've already mentioned. If we take a look at their top prospects, yes, I really like Zach Fiend. I'm not really too sure about the other guys. I've heard a lot about Jordan Beck and Benny Montgomery, but it looks like the Rockies, they're not going to be good for quite some time. And also one young guy I forgot to mention, Ezekiel Tovar. He's pretty good, but the Rockies pitching staff, it's always been terrible, and it's always going to be terrible because they play in Coors Field. The elevation is insane. The Kansas City Royals, I thought that they were the most disappointing and underperforming team in 2023. I thought that their offense was going to be at least top 5 in the American League, but they lost out on Vinny Pasquantino. Now, Vinny Pasquantino is probably going to be back. They picked up Cole Reagans in that Aroldis Chapman trade. I think Bobby Witt Jr. is going to break out even more. Their free agency pool, it's not the worst I've ever seen because Brad Keller, he stinks. Zach Greinke, I love the guy, but he stinks as well. Nick Whitgren, he's not very good. Hunter Dozier stinks. Like, there's a lot of guys that are going to be leaving the squad that are not good. Pretty much all of them have negative wars in 2023. Now, the thing about the Royals, I do like some of their pitching prospects to, be added with Cole Reagans and a few other guys in that rotation. I think that Brady Singer is going to be better, but Frank Mazzucato, I really like his ceiling. The one guy that is not even in their top 30 anymore, Asa Lacy, because he's bad and he's had a lot of injuries. I do think that he has a high ceiling, so the Royals, they could be better, and I really like Gavin Cross. That dude can rake, so the Royals, they might shock some people in 2024. I'm just saying. Look at the Oakland A's. They are the 27th best team in baseball according to ESPN for the 2024 season. Now, obviously, you guys know I'm kind of a fanboy because they're coming to Las Vegas. They have a prospect by the name of Darryl Hernaiz. He's one of my best friends in baseball. He's so good. I think he hit 300 in AAA, so he's going to be a stud. I love Mason Miller. Mason Miller missed a ton of time, and Miles Naylor is the brother of Josh Naylor and Bo Naylor. Both those guys rake, so I think that Miles Naylor is going to be really good. Max Muncy's going to be really good. Darryl Hernaiz, Mason Miller, like, they have a lot of guys who could be dudes, and in 2024, they're not going to be losing really anyone who's important. So if JP Sears and Luis Medina can get better in 2024, they add in Mason Miller, maybe the A's win 60, 65 games. I don't know, but they're definitely not going to be good. And they also lost out on Trevor May, who eviscerated the owner, John Fisher, in his retirement Twitch stream. Obviously, the next team is the Nationals, but I'm going to show their prospects first because they have Dylan Cruz, James Wood, Brady House, Cade Cavalli, Elijah Green. I love Robert Hassel III. The Washington Nationals could be an absolute problem in the near future. Now, they have them as the 26th best team, but Josiah Gray, he was better in 2023. Mackenzie Gore, he was a strikeout artist. If they can really build off their 2023 success and they get contributions from James Wood or Dylan Cruz, the Washington Nationals with guys like Lane Thomas and other kind of younger players on the come up, I love CJ Abrams, they could be sneaky as well. They kind of remind me of the NL version of the Royals. On paper, they could be better than what these rankings are projecting, but if we're talking about their free agents, they're not really losing anyone either. So they could be the same team, but better because they have young players coming up. You guys already know who this team is, the 25th best team according to ESPN, the Los Angeles Angels, even though they should be called the Anaheim Angels. But Ohtani, he could come back to the Angels. You can't completely rule that out, but they're still kind of good on paper. Like, technically, Anthony Rendon, even though he's been a bust, his ceiling is very high. I love what I saw from Mickey Moniak, Mike Trout. He should be back and healthy. If they can get a comeback season from Tyler Anderson, Patrick Sandoval, again, they could bounce back and have a decent season, but the thing about the Angels, they don't have a lot of great prospects. Their number one prospect is Nolan Shanuel, and he looks like he's going to be an on-base god, but he doesn't have the most pop I've ever seen. You kind of want that out of a first baseman, so the Angels at number 25, they're getting some players back, again, like Mike Trout. I think that Patrick Sandoval could bounce back, but when you take away Shohei Ohtani, I mean, he was the face of their franchise. What do you expect from them? Wow, ESPN does not respect the Giants at all. They were only 4 games under 500 last year, and that's because they imploded towards the last half of the season. They were actually pretty solid for the first half. I mean, the Giants at 24 feels a little bit disrespectful, not gonna lie. Brandon Crawford's probably gonna retire. He was not very good. Jock Peterson, he took a step back. Sean Manaea, he was better to end the season. And if we take a look at the top prospects for the Giants, they have Kyle Harrison, who I like. He could be kind of the next Chris Sale type of player. Marco Luciano, his ceiling is limitless. He just can't really put it together. I love what I saw from Patrick Bailey. If they can spend some money, because again, they're losing a lot of guys, so a lot of money is gonna come off the books. If they can go grab a Shohei Ohtani and maybe an Aaron Nola, and you plug Aaron Nola into that rotation right behind Logan Webb, and then you have Ohtani in that lineup, kind of the new face of the franchise. That's what they're lacking right now, a true face of the franchise, a superstar. Yeah, that feels a little bit low to me, not gonna lie, especially with Bob Melvin at the helm. I don't think that they're just gonna roll over and give up. I think they're gonna spend a ton of money. Now, the Cardinals do have faces of the franchise. They have Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado. They have a budding superstar in the making in Jordan Walker, and I do really like Mason Wynn. I think that he's gonna be really good. Chase Davis, if you guys have never heard of Chase Davis, look up his highlights, because he is the reincarnation of Carlos Gonzalez Cargo, that superstar back in the day for the Rockies. Their free agent pool is not the worst. They're only losing Drew Verhagen, Jacob Barnes, Ryan Tepera, who kind of stinks. He's been a bust ever since he was given a ton of money by the Angels. But for me, if the Cardinals can pick up a Blake Snell, maybe a Yoshinobu Yamamoto or an Aaron Nola, if they bolster that rotation, they can be good. Because Ryan Helsley, he looked like a superstar all over again out the pen. If the offense clicks, Jordan Walker builds on the success he had after being recalled. Wilson Contreras was a savage for the Cardinals. So again, if they can bolster that rotation, the Cardinals, they can win 85 games. I think that that's not out of the realm of possibility. The Marlins are a weird team because they're going to be without ace Sandy Alcantara, but in the meantime, they have access to guys like Yuri Perez, Jesus Luzardo. He took a big step forward in 2023. Braxton Garrett was better as well. So they do have some pieces in place already. And we haven't even talked about Max Meyer, who could be coming back from Tommy John surgery. Sixto Sanchez, even though he's gained a ton of weight, he looks just straight up fat right now. He could be someone that breaks the rotation as well. They've already brought back Josh Bell because Josh Bell opted back in. If we take a look at their free agency pool, Jorge Soler, they have to bring that guy back. But obviously these other guys, aside from Matt Moore, I don't see them bringing anyone back. Matt Moore, he's got to be a must because he and Tanner Scott could be really good as lefties out the pen, and then their top prospects. I mean, Max Meyer, again, he's coming back. I really like Jacob Amaya. Maybe he's their shortstop. Again, I collect his cards, so maybe I'm a fanboy and I'm being biased. But yeah, like I said, the Marlins are going to be a weird team because they're set to lose a lot of guys if they don't re-sign Jorge Soler, and then they've already lost out on Sandy Alcantara. But they do have some shiny pieces in Yuri Perez. I really like Jazz Chisholm and other guys like that. So the Marlins are weird to me. I don't know. 22 feels right, but also it might feel low. Okay, yeah, it's definitely low considering they ranked the Pirates ahead of the Marlins. Now, you know, the Pirates are cool and all and everything like that, but they're not going to be better than the Marlins, at least in my opinion. Is Paul Skeens going to be a stud? Absolutely. Will they fast track him to the big leagues? Probably. I do like Tamar Johnson, some other prospects. I don't really know any of these guys. I'm sorry, Pirates fans. I'm hoping that they bring back Andrew McCutchen because I feel like he just fits in so well because he came up with the Pirates. He was a superstar, a perennial all-star, an MVP, and I just think that he fits so well with that high on-base percentage, and he's a leader for the young guys. It's just Henry Davis wasn't very good. I hope that he kind of improves just like Spencer Torkelson did, both first overall picks that underperformed in the first season, and then they built off some other, and then they kind of filled in some holes and they got better and better as they got used to major league pitching. But for me, I know they have young guys like Leover Peguero. I like some of their young starters. Who is that one guy? Hold on. This guy right here, Roansy Contreras. He was awful, completely terrible in 2023, but in 2022, he had a 3.79 ERA. He throws gas. So a rotation of Mitch Keller, Paul Skeens, Roansy Contreras, Luis Ortiz. I'm probably forgetting some other guys, but they could be good, but I just don't think that they're going to be better than the Marlins. How dare you disrespect the Guardians, my team, by putting them at 20 now. Obviously, it makes sense after what they did in 2023. They underperformed. They were 10 games under 500 in a terrible division, but they had standout rookie starters like Tanner Bybee, Gavin Williams, Logan Bybee. Bo Naylor had an almost 390 on base percentage to end the season with a bunch of home runs. So I feel like on paper, the Guardians are actually set up to be a whole lot better in 2024, but they have to figure out who's going to be the starting shortstop. Jose Ramirez, I love the guy. J-Ram, the face of the franchise. He was terrible with runners in scoring position. I think he hit 212. which cannot happen again. So maybe they get breakout performances from Kyle Manzardo, because apparently he's supposed to be Jesus himself according to Rays fans. Chase DeLauder, George Valera, way too many lefties in the lineup because Brian Rocchio, he's a switch hitter, but aside from that, Manzardo, DeLauder, Valera, Josh Naylor, Bo Naylor, you name it, they're pretty much left-handed hitters for the Guardians, and they have to figure that out because just ask the Yankees. If you don't have balance, you're not going to be good. In terms of free agents, I hope they bring back Ronaldo Lopez, and aside from that, everyone else can get gone. We have cracked the top 20, and the Cincinnati Reds are at 19 now. Their offense is going to be so good for a long time because they have Elly De La Cruz. If he can fix his stats against lefties, he's going to be infinitely better. Matt McClain might be the most underrated player in baseball. Spencer Steer had a great rookie season. Same with Christian Encarnacion Strand. Noelvi Marte, I feel like, has a very high ceiling, but their pitching, man, they almost had a 5.5 ERA in their starting rotation. Harrison Bader's probably going to leave. Hunter Renfroe, Luke Maile, Chasen Shreve, Joey Votto. So they're free agents. They're not very good, so not really anything to write home about these guys. And the problem with that, they don't really have a ton of guys who could be in the rotation here soon, unless Nick Lodolo figures it out and Hunter Green, he doesn't give up a home run every other pitch. Again, on paper, I do like Andrew Abbott and Brandon Williamson and Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo. They're all big humans who throw really hard, but they're not really living up to their expectations, and they don't have a lot of guys in their farm system to kind of replace them if they fall off. Connor Phillips, he could be good. I think that Graham Ashcraft has some talent as well, but yeah, I guess the main bugaboo for the Reds going into 2024, that staff. The Tigers are a confusing team as well because Tarek Skubal, if you guys did not know, he was the best pitcher in baseball to end last season. They're also getting guys back like Matt Manning. I think that Casey Mize should be healthy after having Tommy John surgery. Yes, they're probably going to lose Eduardo Rodriguez, but they got breakout seasons from Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green. Also, Jake Rogers is one of the most underrated catchers in baseball right now. Reese Olson, he was pretty good as well. So even if they lose Eduardo Rodriguez, they're going to get a healthy season from Tarek Skubal. You get Miggy off the books, and I love Miggy. Miguel Cabrera is one of the faces of baseball for as long as I can remember, but he's been awful for quite some time, and now you're saving all that money, $32 million off the books. Again, they're going to lose Eduardo Rodriguez, but getting Jonathan Scope off the books, Matthew Boyd, Miggy, that's huge. The brother of Austin Meadows, Parker Meadows, he looks like he could be a guy. Max Clark, he really struggled in his brief stint at Single A. Colt Keith, Jackson Jobe, Jace Young, the brother of Josh Young, the entire Young family rakes. So the Tigers, they're quietly building something pretty fun down in Detroit, and they traded for Mark Canha, so I don't know if that's the end of the bad man Akil Baddoo's tenure with the Tigers. Maybe he goes to the Yankees. I feel like Akil Baddoo on the Yankees makes a lot of sense, but that's a different story for a different day. This might come as a shock to many of you, but the New York Mets are ranked as 17th, and I know that they kind of sold everyone and they're preparing for 2025 because I believe that's what they told Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer, that hey, we're pretty much burning 2024. We're going to be building towards 2025. And again, they lost Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer, but I feel like they really did a good job at recouping a lot of assets because the brother of Ronald Acuna Jr., Luis Angel Acuna, he was insane. Same with Drew Gilbert. I really think that Ronnie Mauricio has a high ceiling. Kevin Parada looks like he's going to be really solid. You also have to factor in they have superstar talent like Francisco Lindor, who might be the most underrated player in baseball right now. Pete Alonso. I really like Francisco Alvarez. I'm probably forgetting guys like Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo. So on paper, the Mets could still be really good, and they have players who could help them in the second half, or even if they call them up. I mean, Drew Gilbert, he's 23 years old. He could get called up. I hope that they bring back Adam Ottavino because I feel like he just fits in very well, but Carlos Carrasco, he's going to be off the books. He was not good at all. So to me, the Mets, they could shock some people. They have the talent on paper to be really, really good, especially if they sign Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I feel like he's in the running for the Mets to pick up. So yeah, the Mets could shock a lot of people. I'm just saying. Oh my, free agents for the Brewers: Carlos Santana, Wade Miley. I don't care about Colin Ray. I'm sorry, he's terrible. If you're watching this, Mr. Ray, my bad. Brian Anderson had a terrible second half. Andrew Chafin. A lot of people are leaving the Brewers. My God, and a lot of former stars at that too. Donaldson, Voit, Winker, Justin Wilson used to be a Battle Royale god in MLB The Show. That's a lot of people just up and leaving. Now, unfortunately, they will be without Brandon Woodruff, and I forgot about that, so thank you, ESPN, for reminding me. Maybe you guys do know ball. We have no idea if the Brewers are actually going to follow through with the rumors that they're going to be pretty much making everyone available. Corbin Burns, Willie Adames, Christian Yelich, Devin Williams, you name it. It seems like everyone's on the chopping block. I do want to mention, I love their prospects like Jackson Chourio. He could be the next Ronald Acuna Jr. That's how good he is. I love Tyler Black and Robert Gasser. I mean, his name is Robert Gasser. He's got to be a good pitcher. So the Brewers at 16, they were 22 games above 500 in 2023. Yeah, I'm I'm okay with this. Maybe they're actually a little bit too low. Ooh, the Boston Red Sox at 15. Okay. So I will give some credence to rookies like Tristan Casas. Jarren Duran was a straight up stud last year. He was a doubles machine. Ceddanne Rafael, I hope I said that right. He looks like he could be a problem. And one player I do want to mention right now, Marcelo Mayer. His swing is buttery. He is going to be the face of the Boston Red Sox for a long time. But if we take a look at their free agents, they have a lot of talent on the books right now to leave. Adam Duvall, Justin Turner, James Paxton. He ate a lot of innings for them. Joely Rodriguez, Kluber, Mondesi. So a lot of, again, kind of former stars, but Duvall, he still has a decent ceiling. Justin Turner, I'm just kind of dumbfounded as to how they made the top 15, considering, like they mentioned, the problem was that they had the 22nd worst rotation in the majors last year. So apparently Chris Sale is going to be a whole lot better. Brian Bayo, apparently he's going to build on his success and be way better. I'm probably forgetting about other guys. Tanner Houck, that dude's disgusting. Can he please throw 150 innings, please? By the way, I'm having the time of my life making this video. I love prospecting. I love making predictions. This is so much fun. I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying as well. For the first time in quite some time, the Yankees have not cracked the top 10. They didn't even make the playoffs last year, but they're in the running apparently for Shohei Ohtani. Yes, they're going to be losing the Martian Jason Dominguez for quite some time, but hey, Oswald Peraza, he ended the season very well. Anthony Volpe, he got better and better. He won that Gold Glove. And if we take a look at their free agent pool, Domingo Germán, he's off the squad. I don't think that they're going to bring back IKF unless he's perfectly okay with being a kind of a used napkin at the very least. He's going to play every single position and not get a lot of credit for doing so. Keenan Middleton, he straight up shoves. Maybe Frankie Montas comes back healthy, but Luis Severino, he's got to go. He was awful for them. Their prospects, Spencer Jones, he's going to be a low batting average, but a freak athlete. He's 6'6", runs like a deer. Jason Dominguez, he'll probably be back at the All-Star break. Everson Pereira, I really like. Austin Wells, he looked better as the season kind of waned, so the Yankees being at 14, what do you guys make of that? Brian Cashman, as long as he's at the helm, I hate the Yankees. Not that I hate the Yankees as a franchise, I just despise and loathe Brian Cashman. I hope that he gets coal in his stocking because he's terrible. Also, I should mention that Michael King looked like a stud. Carlos Rodon and Nestor Cortez, they were absolutely terrible and useless in 2023. So if Michael King, if he keeps it up and Rodon and Cortez bounce back in the same rotation as the Cy Young winner Garrett Cole, they're going to be good. But then again, the problem with the Yankees last year was not only pitching but hitting. They were bottom 5 in almost everything, not named home runs. So they got to fix the batting average department and the batting average with runners in scoring position. At the number 13 spot, we have the Minnesota Twins. And right now, we really have to focus on a couple of their pretty much everyday players from last year being free agents. Sonny Gray, Michael A. Taylor. I'm hoping that Byron Buxton is actually healthy and usable in 2024. Kenta Maeda, he was pretty good down the stretch. Donnie Barrels, Joey Gallo, my friend. Again, I love Tyler Mahle. He could be a sneaky pickup for a team like the Yankees or the Mets, someone that is coming back from injury. Maybe he could be a spot starter or a long reliever. I feel like Tyler Mahle is going to get a good amount of interest across the game of baseball, but if Sonny Gray leaves, that will be a massive hole on the Twins roster. So for me, I agree with them being in the top 13, but if Sonny Gray does leave, that's going to really hurt them. Again, they got breakout performances from Edward Julian, Royce Lewis. They really need Byron Buxton and Carlos Correa to not suck in 2024. So yeah, if they lose Sonny Gray, that is a big time hit, but hey, they should be good on paper. I love some of their prospects like Brooks Lee, Emmanuel Rodriguez. There's another guy, Sabato. Has Sabato fallen? Where is he? Oh, he's not even in the, unless he got traded. Where is Aaron Sabato? Man, he must have just fallen off or something. The Padres at 12. Again, the big problem with this ranking is the fact that it came out way too early, but that's the point. It's the way too early power rankings. I don't know if Blake Snell is going to come back. I don't know if Josh Hader is going to be their closer. I don't know if they're going to trade Juan Soto. So if we take a look at their free agents, again, look at all of these mainstays as everyday players just the season ago. Blake Snell is going to win a Cy Young. Seth Lugo, 8 lot innings. Michael Walker was really good. Gary Sanchez, Josh Hader. I mean, there's some names on this list. And if we take a look at their top prospects, Ethan Salas, he's going to be a problem. He's only 17 years old. I love Jax Merrill. I think that he's going to be really good. But aside from that, I don't really know a lot of other guys. But one guy I do want to mention, what was his name? Luis Campusano. That dude rakes. He's going to be really good. But yeah, this is the one team on the list where it really is too early for me to give an opinion. I think they are going to be better because they played insane to end 2023, but I just don't know who's going to be on the squad. Coming up next, we have the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I want to show their free agents first because Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and Tommy Pham, they were big contributors on the road to going to the World Series. I almost said winning the World Series, but they definitely did not do that. They get Madison Bumgarner off the books. They get Mark Melancon, so they're going to have a lot more money in addition to having some of the best prospects I've seen in quite some time. Jordan Lawler, this kid's going to be a stud. Drew Jones, just like Max Clark, he did kind of struggle in his brief brief stint at single A. I think that Tommy Troy is going to be really good as well. So if they can add one more starting pitcher with Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly, even Brandon Pfaadt is really good. I love Dre Jamison, but if they can go out, imagine if the Diamondbacks got an Aaron Nola or Blake Snell. Could you imagine? Even Ryan Nelson in that blowout game against the Phillies or whatever it was, the Rangers, I can't remember. He threw like 3 or 4 no-hit innings before giving up a home run to Jonah Heim. Ryan Nelson's got nasty stuff, so being outside the top 10, what do you guys think of that? Do you think that the Blue Jays are better? The Blue Jays are also confusing because I don't know if Alek Manoah is going to be on the team or if he's lost a lot of weight apparently according to his recent social media updates, so maybe he's better, but they're free agents. They could take a hit with Kevin Kiermaier. He had a breakout 2023. Brandon Belt was really good. Whit Merrifield, he was an all-star. I can't believe I said that out loud. Matt Chapman, he was terrible to end the season. I still like Hyunjin Ryu. Their prospects, Ricky Tiedemann, he is going to be so good. Or Orvelis Martinez, I can't remember how to say his first name, but he could be a stud as well. The Blue Jays, every single year, I feel like they're going to be really good. Same like the Angels, and then they always disappoint me. So I'm not even going to comment on them because every time I do, bad things happen. But on paper, they're good. They are. The Cubs are an interesting case as well because we don't really know what's going to happen with Cody Bellinger. I expect him to leave. Marcus Stroman, he opted out of his deal. So this list came out a few days ago before Marcus Stroman actually opted out. So those 2 names off the board right now, that's a lot of contributions that are just gone. But they do have Pete Crow Armstrong who can play center field. They are giving reps to Christopher Morel at first base, so maybe they plug in those guys and then their top prospects. I don't really know a lot of these guys aside from Kevin Alcantara. I've heard a lot of good things about him. Ben Brown is supposed to be pretty good. Jordan Wicks, he's a big guy at 6'3". Jordan Wicks showed some promise last year, so what do you guys make of the Cubs? I think that Dansby's going to be pretty good. I mean, they could be good, but then again, they might not be good. I don't know. I genuinely feel like 2024 could be the Mariners' year. Now, I'm going to go ahead and knock on wood, but I like their pieces. I love Luis Castillo. I'm a big fan of George Kirby. When there's a big game on the line, not very many guys are as fearless as George Kirby. So you have Logan Gilbert. Maybe Robbie Ray returns to form after Tommy John surgery. They're also getting back Marco Gonzalez, who I don't like. I think he's terrible, but he's going to be eating some innings. And if we take a look at their free agent list, the only guy that they're really worried about losing is Teoscar Hernandez, and he was better as the season went on. Their top prospects, Cole Young, I've heard a lot of good things about him. Harry Ford, he was a stud for Team Canada. He's only 20 years old. And what about their other guys like Emerson Hancock? He's got some nasty stuff. I'm going to put you guys on to a guy, Jonathan Clase. He could be an absolute savage. In 2023, he had 79 stolen bases, 28 doubles, and 20 home runs. He strikes out like the best of them, but this dude could be a freak. The Dodgers are a very interesting case as well because we don't know if Julio Urias is going to be back. Clayton Kershaw, he's probably going to be out until the All-Star break at the very least, if he even comes back to the Dodgers. Tony Gonsolin, Dustin May, Walker Buehler, they're all kind of injury prone. They're all super talented and high ceiling players, but they're also very injury prone. They also have guys like, but then again, they have young guys like Emmett Sheehan, Ryan Pepio, Gavin Stone. They might be getting back Gavin Lux, and maybe they plug in someone else at shortstop because Ahmed Rosario and Miguel Rojas, they're not it. They got to get someone else. Holy free agents, wow. Yeah, they are set to lose a lot of guys, but I don't really think that any of them really are huge contributors from last season. Maybe Shelby Miller, he was fantastic. Jason Hayward had a bounce back season. JD Martinez, but they find guys and fix guys all the time, so it almost doesn't matter to me. And even though the Dodgers have been kind of snake bit by injuries, they can plug in guys like Diego Cartaya. He's a really good prospect. I don't know if he's going to play catcher because that's Will Smith. Michael Bush, I think that he rakes. Gavin Stone, he could be really good. Andy Pages, it's not Pages, it's Pages. He rakes as well. The Dodgers are going to be fine, especially considering they're the favorite to land Shohei Ohtani. So if you have Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Will Smith, Ohtani, I don't know if I said him already, James Outman, all in one lineup, and Gavin Lux, wow. Just outside the top 5, we have the Tampa Bay Rays, and it's pretty simple to summarize what the Rays could be in 2024, and they could be a World Series contender as long as Shane McClanahan and Tyler Glasnow are healthy. You also have to worry about Wander Franco, but even without him, they have some young guys like Junior Caminero, Curtis Mead. It looks like he's going to rake as well. That's really all I know in terms of the Tampa Bay system, but Junior Caminero, he could be an absolute dog. Their free agent pool, it's not the worst. I hope that they bring back Robert Stevenson and Jake Diekman because I feel like they just fit the Rays philosophy, but on paper, the Rays, as long as they stay healthy, they're going to be so good. Just like the Rays, the Astros are going to be just as good, if not better, going into 2024, at least in my little opinion. I think that Dusty Baker, he had his time, but I felt like Dusty Baker was holding back the Astros. I'm just going to throw that out there. I know that might sound blasphemous and borderline disrespectful for a great human, but I don't like him as a manager. He made some stupid moves. Yainer Diaz is finally going to be the main guy behind the dish. You still have Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve, Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, Jeremy Pena if he bounces back, Justin Verlander, Springer, Christian Javier, Framber Valdez. Like, there's a lot of studs, and they're only losing maybe someone like Michael Brantley. I hope that they bring back Hector Neris because he was pretty good. But finally, the machete, Martin Maldonado, he's donezo. And then Astros fans might hate me, but I don't know a lot of your prospects. Yeah, I don't know any of these guys, I'm not gonna lie. You know what's crazy about the Phillies? They could lose Aaron Nola and still be fine going forward because they have superstar starting prospect pitchers. You have Andrew Painter. I mean, his name is Andrew Painter. He throws gas, so he could probably paint as well considering that's in his name. Mick Abel. I mean, these guys are gonna be studs in my opinion. They have Bryce Harper. I don't think that they're gonna trade Nick Castellanos. Yes, they're letting go of Rhys Hoskins, but across the board, even if they lose Aaron Nola, I think they're going to be fine, but I hope that he comes back. I definitely agree with the Phillies being in the top 4. And look at me. I haven't even talked about my friend yet, Bryson Stott, but he's so good. The Orioles prospect list is almost unfair. Like, they're going to be so good for so long with Jackson Holliday, Heston Kjerstad. Kobe Mayo is one of the more underrated prospects in baseball. Enrique Bradfield looks like he has an insane ceiling as well with the speed and the power. In terms of their free agents, who are they possibly losing? Shintaro Fujinami, Michael Gibbons, Jorge Lopez. Aaron Hicks. I feel like Aaron Hicks was a pretty solid contributor for the Orioles. Hopefully they bring him back. But Jack Flaherty, Kyle Gibson, pretty much all of these guys, they're not going to come back in my opinion. So the Orioles being at number 3, the only thing I'm going to say was my criticism for them before the 2023 season. If they do not spend money on starting pitchers, they will not have my respect. I mean, you have to spend money. You have to have the blend of spending money, having a high payroll, and building up the farm system. They've already done that at a high level, an elite level. Just spend some money on pitchers, please, and you might win 105 to 110 games and then actually win some playoff games too. Speaking of the Texas Rangers, I mean, they're my number 1 team going into 2024. I think that they're going to be better than the number 1 team, but we'll talk about that in a second. They still have up-and-comers like Jack Leiter, the former number 1 or 2 overall pick when he was with Vanderbilt. He was disgusting. Justin Foscue, he's sick. I feel like he could be really good. And then one of my favorite prospects in baseball, Wyatt Langford. Look at what he did in the minors last year. He hit 368 in AAA. I don't know if you can see, maybe my face cam's in the way, but 368 at AAA after hitting 405 at AA. Those numbers don't make sense. So they're going to get back Jacob deGrom, a healthier Max Scherzer, maybe Ezekiel Duran is healthy going into the playoffs. The Rangers are going to be so good. Now, they do have a lot of holes that could be created because they could lose out on Jordan Montgomery, Mitch Garver, Aroldis Chapman. Wow, a lot of guys that were key contributors last season. So if they bring back guys, fine. If they don't, they're going to be fine. They're going to be so good. They're going to be juggernauts yet again. And last but certainly not least, the Atlanta Braves. The rumors are right now that they're going to try Vaughn Grissom in left field. They might be moving on from Eddie Rosario, so they did not pick up his option or something like that. But yeah, the Braves, we know how stacked they're going to be. I mean, let's take a look at their free agents real quick and also their prospects. AJ Smith-Sauber, that's how you said. I know he pitched a little bit in 2023. I don't know if he's going to be that great. So their farm system is a little bit in my opinion, but maybe I'm just not, maybe I'm ignorant. I haven't done my research on them. Their free agents, I mean, they've already picked up Pierce Johnson and Joe Jimenez. All the other guys, they can afford to lose. Now, real quick, I wanted to compare ESPN's top 5 to MLB's way too early top 5. So the Rays make the top 5 according to MLB. The Phillies are at number 4. I think that's the same as ESPN. The Orioles are at number 3. The Rangers, okay, so they basically had the exact same top 5. I know that was a longer video, but if you watched all the way until the end, thank you so much. I really wanted to make this video and I had a lot of fun because I wanted to preview what the teams could look like going forward without the trades and the offseason madness. So let me know what you guys think on paper of these rankings, and I'll catch you in the next one.